Welcome to LA Unscripted. I'm your host, Jess Moyer, and today I have the absolute honor to welcome to the show Cherie J. Wilson. She is an American icon, an actress, a producer, and truly a living legend. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. It's delightful to be back with you. Last time I was here, I felt like I was sitting on a couch with my three closest friends. You guys are so wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. You know, we have a unique opportunity at Focus TV because we are community powered.
Right.
And, you know, I had the opportunity to interview you with my co-host for Good Morning La La Land, and you were just such a light, Cherie. I mean, you walk in and your presence is just glowing.
Well, it's pretty easy. It's like the light shining from you is probably reflecting on me.
I knew we were friends. I knew it.
It's true.
Oh, my goodness. So on the show, I really like to tell the unscripted versions of some of the most influential people in Los Angeles. And you, my God, have been a face and a force in American television for years.
I've had a really charmed run. It's been incredible. And I've worked with the greatest people in the history of television and film. I have been so blessed beyond measure. And I don't take 1 second of it for granted. It has just been a glorious ride.
I love that you just say you're charmed. It's been glorious. Take us back to the very beginning for you. I mean, I know you grew up in Colorado.
Yes, I did. I grew up in Boulder, Colorado. I had a fabulous childhood in Boulder because my dad bought us, my sister and I, horses. We went horseback riding, we went skiing, we were hiking, we were biking, we were just everything outdoors, everything that you could imagine to have your creative juices flowing. And I was an athlete. I was an all-around gymnast. I was a track and field star. I was, you know, cheerleader, pump-up girl. You know, anything get me busy, get me going. And it's interesting. I started doing church plays with my mother in the 2nd grade.
What was your first role?
Well, we did a Christmas. You know, we did the story of Christmas, and I actually started giggling. And my mother was like, I just saw that little finger, the little finger wag. I was like, because I saw my friends out in the audience and stuff.
Hi.
Like, hi. I have lines. No, it was just really fun. And I went into theater and performing and loved that all through school.
What did you love about it?
I loved just the imagination. I always say that acting is walking a mile in somebody else's moccasins. For me, I've gotten to be a lawyer, but I didn't have to go to law school. I got to be, I've been a nun. Stretch. I've been, everything from the sassy girl on Dallas who was the femme fatale and JR's nemesis to you name it. I've been a news reporter. I've been an anchor woman. I did a movie with Martin Sheen where I was the junior news anchor and messing it up, not looking as elegant as you at all.
I find that very hard to believe. It is interesting, you played a variety of so many different roles. You also get to experience then all of these emotions.
It's true.
Outside of yourself, but through the characters.
You get to explore all aspects of your emotional life, of your personality, some of your shadow side that you usually would normally go, oh, don't go there. That's a bad neighborhood.
Keep that skeleton in that closet,
yes,
okay?
Please don't go there. But it gives you a license to really go deep. And it's a permission too. So that, if you go to that really dark and scary place, when they call cut, you can just shake it off. And it's over.
But can you? You don't walk home on offset with some of that?
Not really. I think my training has really helped me. I moved to New York to study theater and acting, and I worked with, did all different modes of studying. And what I landed on, like the actor studio and all the other, there's certain modes that, method acting was too intense for me. It was like ripping open a scar. And I found the Sandy Meisner technique that I did a 2-year program right here in LA, actually, with Joanne Barron and D.W. Brown's studio. If anybody is looking for a great studio out there, they're terrific. And I found that it uses half of your emotional life and half of imagination. And so even though it's you also find aspects that are completely not you, so that when it's over and you're doing a horrifically emotional scene and your son has died, or this one is, you've had a tremendous loss, or something that's really, really, really emotional, and you just want to shake it off the minute they call cut, because it's a hard place to be or stay in. I found that technique has really worked for me.
Do you find that playing some of those roles and experiencing some of those emotions have prepared you for your life?
Oh, of course. It's always fun to play a bad girl. Oh. It's always so fun to be deliciously bad.
Absolutely.
And you get to work out sometimes it's being the seductress, sometimes it's just being, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this.
Say it all.
A bitch on wheels with a whip.
Absolutely. Never underestimate a blonde. Okay?
That's right.
We've got that winner. We are not afraid to crack it.
That's exactly right. And dynamite comes in small packages.
Charmed.
Yes. No, it's funny because I think sometimes when you get to play that evil, kind of a wicked, a little underhanded, delicious parts, then you go home and you kind of got it out of your system. So you're just like happy. It's like you don't have, if I was remodeling my house, if the plumbers and the painters and this one and the contractors made me mad, I would go to work and it would just be like, like a little pit bull. And then I'd go home, I go, okay, now that I got that out of my system, I can just relax and say, you did this, this, and this wrong, so fix it. It's a great outlet.
Absolutely.
For releasing all emotions and fun and not some that are not so fun.
Well, you spent so many years and fans love you from your time as April in Dallas. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Dallas was a dream come true. I started watching it when I was in high school. And here I was, I'd gone to New York, I'd moved to LA, and I joined years 7 to 13. So naturally I was very nervous because I was thinking, oh my gosh, it was Who Shot JR? The whole world was watching it. It's the most acclaimed and famous show in the world. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I was so nervous. I've said this before, but I learned my lines. I learned everybody else's lines. If I was in a scene with Larry, I knew JR's lines. I knew Patrick's. I knew them all, just because I wanted to be that spot on.
What was that first day on the set like for you?
Larry goes, you know your jokes? And I was like, my jokes? Jokes? Am I supposed to say jokes? I was like,
I'm funny. I'm naturally funny.
But... He goes, your lines, darling. I said, oh yes, I know my lines. I know your lines. I know everybody's lines. It was so much fun because I was playing with Larry a lot because I was JR's nemesis, and I never quite divorced Dak Rambo. He got 5% of viewing oil, he got 10% of viewing oil, so half that was mine, right? Mm-hmm. So JR wanted the 5% back, and I wanted $100 million, so we just worked it out over pillow talk.
So eloquently said. Little pillow
struck
talk.
A deal.
Yeah.
Pillow talk. And I was really only supposed to be on the show I was hired for 13 episodes to kind of come in and undo some of the things that had gone wrong in the last season. And it was the year that Bobby came back in the shower, and they were undoing a lot of what happened when Leonard Katzman left. And so I was Cliff Barnes' best buddy. We were friends. We were never romantically inclined, but he was very curious about me because I was going after JR's money, and he was always after JR. That
it's a little
feud.
Complicated.
Yes, it was complicated. But the series, I got along with everybody so famously that all of a sudden they kept writing for me and kept writing for me. And then it was the over, this huge arc that April went through is that, number one, I slept with JR. And I was with him. But then they wanted me, after Pam disappeared, Bobby needed a new wife. So I went from a bad girl to being a good girl and won Bobby's heart.
Evolved, really.
She evolved. She grew up. Yes. It was a wonderful ride. It was just the most magical time of television. Dallas was bigger than life. The decadent 80s and the early 90s, and just the wardrobe, the hair, just everything it was so rich in texture and in life experience. I loved, Larry he was the consummate Peter Pan. He'll never grow up. He was the Pied Piper. He would play his little piccolo, and we'd go marching, and they'll have flags all Sundays and march up and down the Malibu beaches. And it was just playtime all the time.
Did you have any idea when you accepted that role, the legacy it would help you create? I mean, fans are so invested.
They were. I really didn't understand it until we went to Europe for the first time. And here, you're at stages and you're kind of in controlled environments. When you go out, you would get, But in Los Angeles, everybody's a star. A lot of people are. And so it's like
nobody really looks twice.
Nobody looks twice. You're like, oh, it's her. Oh, it's him. And, it's like, I would go to dinner and there'd be, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, and there'd be Goldie and Kurt Russell. And, we'd all be sitting at the same restaurant. It was just like, yeah, there's a lot of actors, so it's not a big deal. You go to Europe, where the Dallas fans are insane. I went jogging. We were in Austria. And we were shooting in Salzburg and Vienna. And we were at a hotel in Vienna. And I went out to take a morning run. And all of a sudden, these kids were going to school, and they said, "Hey, Brooke Stevens!" And they all started chasing me. I couldn't run fast enough. There was like a herd of kids following me as I was trying to run back to my hotel. And they were all just lined up outside, waiting for us to, make an appearance, for Larry and Patrick, and for all of us to come out of our hotels. And it was like, I go, God, I wonder, is this how the Beatles felt? Or
Absolutely.
It was really profound. So you really get the impact when you get out of, the Los Angeles bubble. And it's still that way, going to France, going to Germany, going anywhere in Europe. And in London, forget about it. Dallas was huge.
It was huge. Did you take any of those pieces from the set or from your role to keep with you?
Oh, I have my clothes.
Oh, good. Because they were good.
I have some outfits that you cannot believe.
Do you ever wear them?
I haven't put them on. One of them, I have the jacket that I was racing across on a white stallion, across the Alps with Bobby. And I jumped off my horse and spun around in this red, and I had a shearling coat with black interior. I have that. I have my dress that I was shot on my honeymoon when April Stevens died. My cream color and polka dotted dress. I have that at home. And I have a couple of my fabulous suits. And they have shoulder pads that are about this big. They're so fun.
Wow. It's so fun, though, to be able to just have those pieces that live on and tell those stories.
I know. It's almost like my costumes closet. And I have to say, I stole that from Larry. Larry Hagman had a costumes closet the size of this room practically, because he would go to the grocery store in a Beefeater's outfit, and then he would be a gorilla in a gorilla suit. Full-on gorilla suit in Malibu. He had his, kilts on, and he would have, he was just amazing. He was just a little Pied Piper.
Wow.
Fun. Just one costume after the next.
One costume after the next, one iconic role to the next.
I know.
We've got to talk about Texas Walker.
Yes, my magnetic pull to Texas. I still have another one in me. Anybody?
Okay.
I'd love to do a third show.
World, if you're listening.
Yes, world, if you're listening. No, I love shooting in Dallas. Dallas is like Mayberry gone ballistic. It's a small town and a big city at the same time. Everybody kind of knows everybody. They have the most fabulous shopping, the best restaurants, the best of, I mean, it's such a fun city. You've got all the arts, you've got everything that, you know, New York could offer you, that any of the bigger cities, but it's contained.
Absolutely. Talk about charm.
Yes,
right?
It is. And I did live in Texas for 10 years. We moved there for the show because everything was shot around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it was a grand, talk about adventure. I went from this iconic Dallas, you know, where it was already the most watched show in the world, to then creating from inception with Chuck Norris and Clarence Gilliard and Noble Willingham this beautiful action, adventure, excitement, you know, show that had really good morals and values. You know, that was one of the reasons I think that's what our longevity is that the whole family could watch. You could have your 5-year-old watching, and you could have grandma watching and grandpa and everybody in between. The teenagers were not bored. There was enough action to keep them entertained.
It was one of my father's favorite shows to watch, and that was one of the only shows we actually watched as a family.
As a family, I know. And as you know, I came on before. It's now on Get TV and Inspiration Channel, so it's still airing all the time.
On.
It does. It's definitely got longevity, and it was a dream job. I loved my co-stars like Larry and Patrick. I'm Linda, Kenny Kercheval, Charlene, Steve. All of the Dallas cast was just amazing, and then to have lightning strike twice, you know, and I get this other incredible family with Chuck Norris and his sons, Eric and Mike. They worked on the show, and they were great stuntmen and great coordinators and became great directors. And it was really a family nucleus show, and we really had each other's backs, on literally, figuratively, and it was such a different show because every week there was some new wild adventure.
And you were wild.
And we were wild.
I can't imagine the amount of fun you must have been having
It totally suited my personality for being outside in adventures, riding horses, rappelling down ravines. We went to Colorado. We went to Utah when it was too hot to shoot in Texas. So we went on location. We did whitewater rafting episodes. We did pioneer episodes back to the 1800s. I feel like I've gotten to live like 20 lifetimes because of my characters and because of the different life experiences that I've had. And I've been able to travel the world, and this has been a dream come true career for me.
What else do you want in this lifetime?
Well, I have now I'm still acting, of course, but I just finished a film called The Silent Natural, where I got to learn sign language because it is about the first deaf and dumb baseball player, William Dummy Hoy. And I played his mother from the 1800s. So the beautiful part about this is that all the actors that are playing deaf roles were actually deaf. And so Miles, who played my son and plays William, he looks at you, and what I realized about not being in one of the senses is that it heightens all the others. So when these guys focus in on you, it's like you're in lockdown.
Connect.
It's a connection. You're like, gosh, I wish every actor would be like this. It's just incredible. And it was such a rich experience. And that I've just completed. And I have a new production company called Sandalphon Entertainment.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Sandalphon Entertainment. I have Julie Lynch and Colton Meacham are my partners. And Julie is one of the most profound screenwriters for film and television. Her scripts have gotten a 9 out of 10 on the Blacklist. And so we have 2 fully financed feature films with Rainmaker Films is doing the financing and Film Nation is doing our foreign. Wow. And right now we are out to some of the A-list, best of the best actors and directors right now. So we're just waiting for a yes to go into pre-production because we've got all the elements except for our talent and our director attached.
And will you be performing in any of these? Are you
I will. It doesn't necessarily, I don't necessarily have to because some of the leads are so big. We've had, I can't name drop until they say yes.
Maybe just a hint?
As great as you can imagine are the people that we have been blessed enough that are reading right now.
I would expect nothing less.
And I have all the confidence in the world. They're really award season films. One is called Truth Sayers and one is called Rosamond. And they're both true stories, based on true stories. One was a groundbreaking trial that changed legislation in Charleston, South Carolina forever. That it's a very strong case, and Julie took it on because 11 victims of child sexual abuse, asked her to write their story. There were 27 kids from this one school that harbored a pedophile for almost 40 years in the town. And 27 of these students had committed suicide. And so it's a very strong, it's not a downer though. It's much more emotional. What Spotlight did for the subject matter, we're more like the Erin Brockovich type of show because it's really digs into the emotion and the passion and the fierceness of this female attorney who took on the whole system and won the most groundbreaking case ever to happen. And now you can sue your perpetrator without statute of limitations forever.
Wow.
And so it's a very important case. And the other one is about the most acclaimed artist, Rosamond. And she was catapulted to stardom and fame. She painted in voids, and it's really a biopic about her life story. And she was more famous than Norman Rockwell, Andy Warhol, you name it, in the day. And sadly, I won't tell you the ending. But no, there's some great stuff. And then we have a faith-based division to our company.
Really?
And we are doing this beautiful miracle story called I, John. And it is based on a Bible verse, John, chapter 20, verses 20 through 22, where the disciples were trying to figure out who was going to betray Jesus. And they were asking, is it him? Is it him? And they pointed at John the Apostle. And Jesus said, what if I were to keep him here until I return? You still must follow me. And then the rumors went through the disciples that, oh, he's going to be the wandering Jew and he'll never die and he'll be here until the second coming of Christ. And so this beautiful writer, Sean Murphy, wrote this what if maybe John the Apostle is still here on earth, and through his faith and never faltering his faith in the Lord creates miracles wherever he goes. And it is a beautiful miracle story from an atheist doctor who had no faith, and this man who gets stabbed, and all of a sudden his wounds miraculously heal, and they're like, he doesn't believe in God, and but then too many things in the hospital started happening that he had to kind of admit that God could possibly be real. And it's a very, very, very sweet story, and I'm anxious to put that out there into the world because we need more healing, miracles, happiness,
absolutely,
joy.
What role has faith and miracles played in your life?
I feel like, my faith is very strong. I grew up in a very strong Christian home, and my mother still sings in the choir. It's just I've always had faith in my life and always had examples of miracles, and I feel like my whole life is a miracle. But my two beautiful sons, Luke and Nicholas, they were two gifts from God, total angels. I just think that this charmed career that I've had, you know, everybody, life happens, you know, accidents happen, things happen, but it's always through my faith that I can stay in gratitude, and it doesn't matter what the falls are, if it's a financial, hopefully never a health crisis, but you know, it's really my faith that gets me through always, because it's just bigger, and it's all encompassing, and it's all healing, and if you stay in gratitude even through the tough times, that's when it's the hardest, then you come out of it a lot faster. Always.
You seem to have always come out of it absolutely shining. Cherie, what is it that you hope your legacy to be?
That I was really kind. I was really a good friend, a mother, a spouse, a mate, and that I gave somebody some hope or inspiration or laughter or fun, entertained them in a way that changed their life or made them think a little bit different, maybe just even for 5 minutes. Gave them a little gift that their life didn't have before.
You are absolutely a gift to us. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolute honor. Thank you. You have seen one of my most favorite interviews right now with Cherie J. Wilson. You can find her again on Texas Walker on Get TV and MeTV. We're so excited that the legacy continues. That's what we do here on LA Unscripted. We tell the lives and the stories of some of the most influential people here in Los Angeles. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time.